Good morning and welcome to Day 3 of the FIPFA 2023 Powerchair Football World Cup. Action today is going to be all important as teams try to make a play for the top 4 and semi-finals at this 10-team tournament. And we start the action on Court A with Uruguay taking on Denmark. My name is 𝐏𝐨𝐿𝐿 and I'm joined by the Australian Powerchair Football Team Assistant Coach Mike Suffield. Mike, great to have your company.
Teo, lovely to be here.
So, Australia played Uruguay in the final game yesterday, a last-minute 1-1 draw, and Uruguay had a big red card to their top scorer in the tournament, Francisco Wild, right at the end of that game. So, they have to bounce back today. They're still very much in with a chance of making the top 4 in the semi-finals, but they do so without one of their most important players.
Yeah, they do, and it's going to be an interesting coaching call here to see who slots into that middle position for Uruguay. Of course, Francisco Wild, as you mentioned, their top scorer, but also their leader on the court. He's the one who really drives their offense and makes sure that they're stable on defense. So, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how they line up this first match today.
You can see Marco Diaz there in as the team's captain with the referees for this one. So we're going to take a look at the squads and also the starting lineups. Uruguay are the nominated home team for this game. Their goalkeeper is the number 5, Diego Nin. Starting will be Lucia Barbosa Doldan, the number 2. Also Brian Medina, number 7. And Marco Diaz is captain, number 8. Francisco Wild is suspended, and their other players, Uruguay, are Fabian Medina and Nicolas Siblis, neither of who were substituted on against Australia yesterday. Denmark, they did bring a small squad to this tournament, but so far the results have been pretty good. Their goalkeeper is Orben Vongsen. Also starting the number 11 is Thorbjorn Krarup. Number 10, who is Kasper Volker Petersen, and the number 7, Mark Sorensen. Other squad members, Michael Jensen and Tobias Clausen. The predictor, and you can jump on to predictor.fipfa.org to put in your predictions for every match in this tournament. This one is a real dead heat. Uruguay 41%, Denmark 41%, and a draw at 16%. So if you want to swing that, jump on and have your say, predictor.fipfa.org. Now, I haven't seen Denmark live yet because they've often been playing on other courts when I've been commentating. So having seen them yourself, Mike, what can we expect from Denmark, given that at this point of the tournament they are sitting in 4th, 2 wins and 1 loss and a positive goal difference after 3 games?
Yeah, look, what we can expect from Denmark here is big hitting, playing hard up the wings as much as they can and really feeding off this crowd. I'm sure you can hear them in the background on our microphones. It's a small contingent right now, only 10 of them or so, but they will grow throughout the day and they are loud and really get behind their team, especially when their passing gets going. They really look to play out of the middle. Kasper Pedersen, he's a big hitter, he's a big boy. He plays the ball so well to his wingers, and that's how they get their open looks, is playing fast balls up the wing for big shots on target. Now,
I have been told that the crowd will swell through the course of the day, and Australia has 2 vital games coming up. So if you are near the Quaycentre at the Homebush Sports Precinct, right near the Olympic Stadium and Kudos Bank Arena, you can't miss it really. Make sure you come down. It is free entry as well. So if you are nearby, get down to the Quaycentre. There is wheelchair accessibility for up to 250 wheelchairs as well around the arena. So it is a very accessible arena if you or a family member wants to come down and check out the Powerchair Football World Cup. Australia, they have 2 vital games today, Mike. Let's just take a quick second while I've got you here, a member of the Australian team camp, to have a look at the matches coming up. Japan, which will be absolutely vital, and then the Ashes against England later today.
Yeah, look, 2 big games for us. Obviously, Japan first up. They've had a rough first couple of days. So our APO rivals, we had a really, really tight contest with them in the last World Cup and managed to comeback win to put us into the semi-final. And obviously in our APO Zone Championship back in 2019, defeated Japan in both matches we played against them. They play a good game. They're very powerful, lots of strong passing. We'll look to get an early win this morning, at 1 o'clock, and that'll set us up for our afternoon match against England. A very different style of play there. England really look to spread and pass. So, look, we'll see what happens in that match. I think another win would be fantastic for us and really get us rolling, but if we could snatch a point off the Poms, that'd be a brilliant result too.
So just repeating those kick-off times for Australia today: 1 p.m. against Japan, 4 p.m. against England. Come along. If you do come down here, make sure you get a look at France. They have been one of the standout teams in this tournament. They are 3 wins from 3. So are England, and the United States 2 wins from 3. They are the other occupants of the top 4 and the semi-final places at the moment. We're going to take just a quick breather here during warm-ups. Slated kick-off time for this contest is 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Daylight Time, I should say, which is in about 8 minutes from now. We will be back before kick-off. Stay with us on the FIPFA social media channels and YouTube page.
Everyone, we have just over 5 minutes until the start of the day's action, and for the moment, it's the Danish fans who are making the most noise. Are the Uruguay fans here? Okay, let's hear from Uruguay. The Republic of Ireland. And the United States of America. Let's make sure we keep the support loud for these incredible athletes out here representing their countries. At 11:30, Argentina versus Northern Ireland, France versus England, and then in early afternoon, Australia versus Japan, and then we start again, Republic of Ireland versus Uruguay, Northern Ireland versus France, Denmark, Argentina, and we round out the day with Japan versus the USA, and Australia versus England.
Denmark's results so far in this tournament: a 1-0 win against Northern Ireland, a 2-0 loss to England, and a 2-0 win against the Republic of Ireland. And Uruguay have drawn all 3 of their games: 2-2 against both Japan and Northern Ireland, and 1-1 against Australia. So, contrast in styles perhaps expected today. Uruguay's co-coaches are giving them one last rev up here: Silvio Palacios and Juan Corraletti. And Mike Suffield, what was it like to coach against those two yesterday? Because there's been a few vocal and very active coaches that love to walk up and down the sideline and, you know, sort of ride every touch of the ball. But how did you experience that with the Uruguayans as your opponents yesterday?
Look, I think if anything, people would have seen on the broadcast that we're a very active coaching camp ourselves in the Australia group. Look, there's a lot of respect between coaches, and one of the lovely things about Powerchair football is the community and the engagement. We all know each other very well, so there's a lot of respect there. And look, passion's a great thing to see in sport. We really enjoyed both of our matches against the South American coaches yesterday, and yeah, very happy with how everyone's treating each other.
So underway in Uruguay versus Denmark, and it's Denmark in the red attacking the right of your screens in this first half. Give us a prediction then. Mike, what do you reckon the score will be at the end of this one? Will it be 4 draws from 4 for Uruguay?
So I'm just waiting to see what's happening here. I think the referee has been told that one of the Uruguayan players needs assistance from their coaching staff.
So the assistance is taking place for Marco Diaz, the captain.
I think Marco's hands just slipped off his controller there. Obviously, a lot of these players have struggles with dexterity at times, and if their hands come off their controllers, which they use to drive their chair, they often need support to get their hand back on the controller properly. So Marco's looking a bit more comfortable now. Look, score prediction. The Uruguayan defence hold up very well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a draw, but I would expect to see scoring from both teams. I think our score predictor was 1-1. I'd expect that to be pretty close to the final result here.
It's funny, in my experience, the score predictor has been quite conservative and has often underestimated the number of goals, and that was proving true right up until yesterday, when the Australia and Uruguay game was a really tight affair, which could have had more goals, but ultimately finished in a 1-1 draw. So we'll see if 1-1 is the sort of scoreline we're heading for today. The referee, central referee for this one, is Mika Wilston. Assistant referees are both Australians, Rebecca Goulet and Ellie Smithers. And as we see a chance here for Lucia Barbosa-Doldan, it is blocked away by Volker, and it's out for the first corner of the game.
And that's a play that Uruguay love to try, is that near post punch. Didn't come off for them quite that time, but we did see the defender leave the post. It'll be interesting to see if they continue with that attack effort.
And Leonardo Frege of Argentina is our 4th official, as we have another shot from Lucia, and it's just wide of the post. Now, Lucia only came on against Australia for the last couple of minutes, but thrown into the starting lineup today due to the suspension of Francisco Wilde, and a player who's going to perhaps be their shoulder a lot of the responsibility for attacking for this team.
Yeah, and she's actually a great striker of the football. I watched her play against Japan yesterday as well, and her ability to come on and provide some great ball movement late in that game was also almost pivotal to Uruguay getting the win. I think it's a good role for her, and she'll definitely step up to what's needed in the starting 4 for Uruguay.
Out comes Vongson and sends the ball into attack. Uruguay, trying to adjust, and it was the attempted shot from corner, but he wasn't able to make contact, and so it goes out for a kick-in to be taken by Brian Medina.
And that's that wide passing we spoke about before the match. Denmark will really look to play it up their wings and get a big cross across the court, try and catch the Uruguay keeper out of position.
Long shot there with plenty of power, but blocked away by Diego Nin. And the Denmark bench is shouting. What did they spot there?
Not quite sure what the Denmark coaching staff are up about there. The 2-on-1 call, I think, was the result, and the right result. Denmark were really cramping Uruguay there on defence. So I'm not really sure what Denmark coaches have seen.
Brian Medina to take the free kick. And as he goes for power, Lucia on the spin, not able to glance it over to Woods Diaz, the teammate, so it goes back to Brian Medina, trying again, and Denmark's defence is holding sturdy, and then there's a 2-on-1 call and a free kick going Denmark's way. Now, for new viewers, and we will be recapping this on a lot of the streams throughout the week because there are so many new viewers. I see an entire class of about 80 school children walking in who are going to be new viewers, many of them today. Explain to us the 2-on-1 rule. It is Powerchair football's equivalent of offside.
Yeah, correct. And look, it's an artificial way to create space in our game, but it's certainly a required rule in our game. You can only have one player from each team within 3 metres of the football at any time. The only exception to that rule is the goalkeepers, and you'll see the Uruguayan goalkeeper in green and the Denmark goalkeeper in orange. When they are within their goal box, they are exempt from the 2-on-1 rule.
So watch out for that today. As you say, it stops players clustering around the ball and allows for both individual skill and also a passing game. And someone like Brian Medina today, you will see him look to take the ball and dribble with it up the pitch, up the middle, up the sides. He's got great control of the ball. Free kick Denmark then. Corner up, playing it back to Volker. Good 1-2 between the pair. Corner up though, dispossessed by Brian Medina. And then the tackle comes in from Vongson, the goalkeeper coming well out of his penalty area. And that's the sort of high-risk play that teams like to go for, to create an overload. I mean, the 2-on-1 rule still applies, but it certainly does help cut off the angles sometimes to have your goalkeeper well up the arena. It does come with an element of risk of leaving your goal unguarded, though.
Yeah, it does. And it's also an attempt by a lot of teams to try and play defence in their attacking half. Some teams will leave their goalkeepers back on the goal line or at the top of their goal box, as we can see with Uruguay in this match so far. But that means that if there is a break from the other team, the ball rolls the entire length of the court. Teams like Denmark, teams like England really look to stop that movement forward, control the play up in their attacking half.
So it's a goal kick here coming up for Denmark. So a fairly placid first 6 minutes. We haven't had a golden opportunity to score. Lucia Barbosa Doldan probably with the 2 best opportunities of the contest so far. And here's Volker conceding possession now. Diaz backtracking to get around onto the ball. Couldn't quite beat the goalkeeper though. Saved away. And it'll be a kick in for Uruguay. Deep in attack now. And you see Diego Nin is drawn up to the halfway line really for the first time today, the Uruguay goalkeeper, just to allow an extra passing outlet should Uruguay need.
It's a really good attacking opportunity here for Uruguay. They've got a block across the top of the box, which is where the ball may look to go. He's forced a corner instead. That's how Uruguay scored against Australia yesterday. Ran a good block at the top of the box for a throw-in that position for a far post shot.
So corner kick now coming up. That'll create slightly more space because a player in the goalkeeper has to be behind the goal line to start the corner kick anyway.
Referee trying to advance play here and not getting the ball moving quite as fast as I think you'd like. It's interesting, that's 2 times in a row the refs encourage the player to play quicker.
It is part of Uruguay's plan today to, no, I mean, wasting time is a cynical way of saying it, just to play at their own pace perhaps is the way to describe it.
I think so, and look, as a coaching staff in the Australia camp, one thing we talk about a lot is controlling the tempo of the game, and I'm sure the Uruguayan coach would have similar messaging right now.
Barbosa loses out to Krorup. And advancing down the right corner up. Brian Medina makes the tackle. Hard up against the byline. See the referee right there on the scene watching it unfold. And now Brian Medina trying to turn defence into attack. Lucia, the goal's open here if Lucia can get past, but Vongson's done very well. He was the last line of defence there inside his own attacking half and was able to at least force the ball out for a kick in.
Referee just having a chat to the Uruguayan goalkeeper there about contact. Obviously, like all other forms of football, this is a non-contact sport. 2 warnings, and then we look at cards.
And the ball from this free kick rolls all the way out for a goal kick. So still goalless in this one. From a purely Australian point of view, we were talking off air before kick-off that a draw is probably the best result for Australia here, just to not let one or the other of these 2 teams make a jump as far as pulling away into the top 4, but still, it's a 9-game round robin. You get lots of chances. Here's a shot. Denmark's best chance of the game. 𝐏𝐿𝐏𝐿 has his attempt saved by Diego Nin.
Yeah, look, a draw would be really helpful in this match for us. Denmark obviously sitting in 4th place right now. If they were to give up some points, that would benefit our campaign. But we'll see how it plays out. As we said, it's a long, long tournament, this FIPFA World Cup.
So Vongson is up to take the free kick here. Denmark, an attacking set piece really for the first time in the contest. Vongson knocked away by Barbosa initially. Corner up, oh, went for power. You saw the blind turn there. It's almost the Cruyff turn of Powerchair football, to spin around on the blind side and trust your timing. And he's able to win a corner for his team. And now Krarup and 𝐏𝐿𝐏𝐿 are having a discussion about how they're going to work this corner kick.
Looks like it'll be a motion play here. Krarup's going to try and catch this ball on the right side of his guard and flick it back to the near post. He's just missed time to hit him, though, has Pedersen.
And now out of the defensive half comes Brian Medina. He's not able to weave away just yet, but he's got an angle here. Goalkeeper comes up, and that's really good goalkeeping coming out of his line from Vongson to prevent Brian Medina going off on a long individual dribble. So Brian Medina to Diaz, and Diaz is able to win another kick in, slightly further advanced up the arena. Rapido is the shout from the Uruguay bench, so they want this done a little bit quicker now. Let's see if that suits Brian Medina's style. To Diaz, tries to push it between the gap of keeper and defender. Diaz is still there inside the penalty area. 𝐏𝐿𝐏𝐿 sticking to his task. Diaz, contact between the two players, and the foul is against Diaz. Free kick going the way of Denmark.
Yeah, just turned in on Pedersen there. Did Diaz. Probably not intentional, but contact's contact. Great call by the referee.
Talk us through how the referees generally assess contact and sort of determine who initiates it, because often, you know, we'll see the ball stuck between two chairs, and that means that both players have sort of an equal purchase in the tension that's being applied, or the pressure being applied. So how much is that a judgment thing? How much is that players know when they're the ones that maybe have initiated contact and committed a foul?
Yeah, so there's a couple of elements to contact in Powerchair football. You may see on some of the chairs a marking on the front guard. That determines where the chair stops and the guard starts. Now, incidental contact guard to guard at the front of the chair is actually allowed within Powerchair football, but anything behind that tape is considered contact with the chair, and that is quite heavily monitored and penalised by the referees. When the ball's in between two chairs, the same rules apply. If the ball is touching the chair, it's considered part of the chair. So any pushing or effort through the ball into the chair is still considered contact. And then finally, if you're spinning around, if you're wildly swinging and you make contact with someone, that's quite a dangerous effort in Powerchair football, and can often result in a yellow card.
So case in point right here, we've got this tackle being laid here and then contact at the end of it. However, that was determined to be incidental because it was guard against guard?
Exactly. Guard on guard, that contact. That's just a good tussle and good jockeying.
It's always nice when the game demonstrates exactly what we were talking about right after we were talking about it. So for any new viewers, there's a couple of good examples of where the ball is between two chairs and the players are tackling each other, trying to wrestle it away. And it has been an arm wrestle so far. No goals. Medina to take this free kick deep in his defensive half. Uruguay definitely not with too many numbers committed forward. And that's going to roll out for a goal kick. Well, dare I say, it's been a very patient opening between these two teams that are just waiting for a gap or a mistake to open rather than perhaps the dare to take the game on. We could see a contrast in the second half But right now, it doesn't feel like a goal is coming anytime soon.
Can't write off this Danish side, though, from these 0-0 positions. Have managed to find goals out of nowhere in a couple of their matches so far this tournament. They can score from anywhere and against the run of play very quickly.
Corner up and Medina both contesting the ball there, but goes straight back out from whence it came. It's another kick in for Denmark. And Barbosa is tackled by Krarup and swinging around, able to get a pass away initially, but Volker backtracking, and that will be a 2-on-1 in Uruguay's favour. And I guess in that instance, conceding the 2-on run is far worse than conceding possession, because obviously the goalkeeper's out and the net's open. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, a bit of a lack of communication there. Probably the coaching staff would have preferred the keeper to come to that ball and the winger to move away to allow for the pass, but you're right.
Great pass from Diaz, saved away by Vongson, and now the keeper charging out, trying to launch a counter-attack, but Brian Medina is holding his nerve and keeping possession. Vongson takes on Lucia, and Lucia in, 50-50 ball, and a 2-on-1 in the end is going Uruguay's way. Another free kick in the attacking half. So Uruguay just shading this first half ever so slightly. It's been a very even contest.
Danish wingers there just got a bit caught up. It's hard when the ball's moving side to side so quickly to know whether to get forward or back of the ball, and in that instance both players back of the ball or defensive side of the ball couldn't get out of the way of the 2-on-1. Bit unlucky there, but they'll get their communication sorted and their rotation sorted soon.
Free kick Denmark now.
Bit of discussion between the Danish camp and the referee here. I think there was confusion as to whether it was their ball or not. They've sorted themselves out now.
Volker down the line. Krarup trying to escape with the ball. And now very firmly struck. Diego Nin, though, had the angles covered as it rolls out for a goal kick. Denmark really love the forcefully hit shot from distance. Some teams don't really have an exponent of that skill, but Denmark have shown us a couple of times in the first half that they are not afraid to unleash from downtown.
Yeah, Volker Pedersen, the way that he strikes the ball, it's hard, it comes at you quick, the angles are almost perfect. That wasn't too far off target.
Brian Medina able to get the ball away from one opponent. Now goes up against Volker. One last touch off the Uruguayan, so Denmark kick in. Only 3 minutes to go in this scoreless first half. Can tell you over on the other court, the United States are 2-0 up against the Republic of Ireland. So USA, having been defeated by France yesterday in a rematch of the 2017 and most recent FIPFA Powerchair Football World Cup final, are back to winning ways. At least it seems that way at present. Now, talk us through what the Denmark bench would be saying to corner up here after that 2-on-1 was given away.
I think they just haven't got their spacing right now, Denmark, and that's their ball. That's almost an inexcusable 2-on-1. For your own kick in, to have two attacking players sitting right next to each other and then to feed the ball between them, I think the coaching staff will be very unhappy with that. They really just need to settle into the game a bit in here, Denmark.
Medina. Long ball. Knocked away by Volker, and Barbosa looms dangerous. Medina again. Lucia, can she find an angle here? Not able to flick it back to the left. In your experience on the sideline, is it purely up to the individual how much in-game coaching actually is listened to versus just the flair and the stylings of the individual as to whether or not they do listen to what the coaches tell them?
Yeah, look...
Like any form of football, really. Some people are just, you know, walk to the beat of their own drum, and others love to listen to everything the coach says. Exactly.
Like with any athletes, some have good personalities at listening to coaches, others really just get out there and play. As a coaching panel also, you're aware of which player understands and plays the game certain ways. So we manage that. You know, there are some players that will just play what's in front of them and it's harder to manage. But directions like that 2-on-1, that's a structural thing that the coaching staff should be talking to any player about, making sure that everyone's in the right position. Also that the person taking the kick in is patient and waits and puts their players where they need them before they take the shot.
Well, Brian Medina here in the last minute of the first half. I suspect there won't be any stoppage, 20-minute halves. Can Uruguay strike late? It would be the perfect time to break the deadlock in a game that has been largely devoid of golden opportunities to score. And as that ball is contested right up to the line, Lucia, it breaks central. This could be promising for Uruguay just yet. Medina, now Lucia. Denmark trying to forge ahead. Lucia, though, great swing on the blind side. Around it goes. Corner up, not able to advance the ball, and Brian Medina prevails. And that takes us to 20 minutes on the dot. The referee's not looking at the watch just yet, so we'll have maybe one more phase of play here in this scoreless first half. That whistle is coming from the court behind us, so don't be fooled. Volker. One last chance for Denmark then, maybe. They've done precious little attacking in the last 12 or 13 minutes.
And this spacing far better for Denmark. Beautiful cross for potentially the last shot of the half. Out for a goal kick.
And indeed it was the last shot of the half, so scoreless. In a game that perhaps could be brought to life by a goal, but so far it is a slow burn. Uruguay 0, Denmark 0. Mike Suffield, give us your thoughts on how the game has gone so far and what direction it might go in the second half.
Yeah, look, a really interesting first half. I think the Danes probably got a bit frazzled in the middle 10 minutes there. Couldn't get their spacing quite right, but we did see a couple of really explosive efforts. Their ability to just push that ball up the wing, and they do leave their wingers quite high, and get across is going to put pressure on the Uruguayans if they continue to play that way. The Uruguayans, as we've seen all tournament, solid in defence, very composed. They never look rattled. They just play a cool, calm brand of football. A few good-looking opportunities from set pieces. They probably just need to sort out the kick-ins. They were just a little bit off target. But, gee, what a contest we've got here.
Stay with us here on the FIPFA YouTube channel and social media networks. The World Cup continues throughout the day. Don't forget, Australia plays this afternoon at 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. So if you are near Quaycentre in the Homebush area of Sydney, or you can make the drive to get here this afternoon, come down and do so. It's free entry at the World Cup. We'll take a quick break here. The images will continue and commentary will return just before the start of the second half.
Yeah, we got it clean. Now we've got it like, we've got it clean.
Welcome back to live pictures from the FIPFA 2023 Powerchair Football World Cup, where at half-time between Uruguay and Denmark in our opening match of the day, it is 0-0. Who is going to break through? That's the question. Australia assistant coach Mike Suffield is here. Mike, having seen the first half, if you had to tip one team to score first, which way would you lean in this second half?
I think I'd have to go with Uruguay. They've been able to control possession in their attacking third, and they've had a few good-looking set pieces. I think they're the ones to look out for the first strike, and then it's whether the Danes can strike back.
Of course, Uruguay have had a massive issue with late equalisers, conceding both in stoppage time against Australia and Japan. So they could be Northern Ireland, no, Japan, correct. So they could be in a far more advantageous position in this tournament had they held out for the dying seconds of not one but two matches. Perhaps Denmark will keep that at the back of their mind if this game is still scoreless when 40 minutes is on the clock, as we see Brian Medina trying to force the issue. Got some exciting news for our viewers. If you go to predictor.fipfa.org, there is now a live league table function, which is active for this morning's games and all games throughout the rest of the tournament. So we've been talking about the top 4 in the semi-finals. If you want to see it for yourself and see how it unfolds, you don't have to do your own calculations. You can have them right in front of you at predictor.fipfa.org, and then just select the live league table, which at the moment has France and the United States and England all tied on 9 points, albeit with the United States having played a game extra. Neither team has made a rolling substitution in this game, and that is one thing I've noticed about certain teams. Some teams love to stick with the core 4, and some teams love to go for mass rotation, the United States being a great example. Where does Australia sit on this? Because Australia has made, I would say, somewhere in the middle. You're not in fact, if anything, probably above average in terms of the number of rolling substitutions, whereas teams like Uruguay and Argentina keep them to an absolute minimum.
Yeah, look, we'd like to think we probably have...
Shot on here. Great chance for Denmark. First goal of the game. Denmark score.
Yeah, that's exactly what we spoke about at the start of the match. Their ability to play the long ball up the wing, get a good cross, and open up the goals. Pristine football from Denmark there.
Mark Corner up with the celebration. Look what it means to him. Breakthrough goal, his second of the tournament, and Denmark, just 2 minutes into the second half, have taken a 1-0 lead against Uruguay, and the way they passed diagonally across the court there, it makes you wonder how we got to 0-0 at half-time, because it was such a pristine move.
Yeah, and they're probably on again here. Beautiful punch by Volker Pedersen to the wing there. Unfortunately, just not enough pace on it, but that's the Denmark style of play, is really just push the ball forward with pace and energy, have a big looping cross, try and catch the keeper running post to post, and feed it back in.
And Cornerup now becomes Denmark's first player of the tournament to have 2 goals to his name. Uruguay in need of a response. Lucia given away. Quaycentre not able to get past Brian Medina. Lays a tackle on Brian, but he's able to advance. Vongson, the goalkeeper, doing well, backtracking here, Vongson. Brian advancing with the ball. Can't sneak it inside the post, out for a goal kick.
So yeah, back to our earlier conversation around substitutes. Look, we like to think we've got probably one of the deepest sides and squads at the tournament here, and so for us it's really about reading what's going on the court and deciding who we can bring on to just change slightly what we're doing and try and get it to work a bit better. We're not one of the pinch hitter substitute sides like America. They really bring on players that can execute set plays perfectly or defend perfectly. We're not like that. We just make micro adjustments based on who we think can better suit the situation in front of us.
And we will see if either team turns to their bench, given that Denmark have one of the smaller squads at the tournament. Just 2 players on their bench. Uruguay, due to suspension today, have just 2 players on their bench. Two on one, and free kick going Uruguay's way. The crowd has really found its voice. There's about 200 school children that have now made their way into the arena as well to assist the colourful designated support of each national team. Because the Danes are actually trying to G up the school kids and get them to cheer for them. That's great commandeering of the locals. Brian Medina. Shot from Diaz, saved away. Brian with another shot, saved again, and then unable to make contact. And then Nin has gone crashing into the goal scorer, Cornerup, and that leads to a foul and a free kick. Didn't the arena just come to life there for the last minute or so?
Yeah, the energy's certainly gone up now that Denmark scored. Uruguay looking to push hard. The Danes, actually, for my money, looking a bit frazzled on defence right now. They've been caught out a few times with 2-on-1s and players in the wrong positions. If Uruguay can keep building on these set plays, as we see Uruguay give away a 2-on-1 this time. If Uruguay can keep building on these set plays and build on the pressure they're starting to force in their attacking third, they may find the breakthrough they need. Great to see the young fans in the house today. The Danes did a great job yesterday of commandeering the fans as well.
Krara plays it back to Volker. Brian Medina with it all to do. And it's out for a Denmark kick-in. 6 minutes into this second half. Mentioned the Live League table. It pushes Denmark up to 7 points now. Volker with the cutback. Krarup with the shot. Krarup blocked away. Diego Nin has done well. And the ball is going to roll out for a Denmark kick-in, but that was a really well-constructed attack again. Well, Princess Mary wasn't the only Dane, the Australian that the Danes have stolen away, it seems. They've now got about 200 school children going into business for them as well. Those of you wondering, they've walked a couple of Danish flags over to the crowd. And this is fantastic for the athletes, isn't it? Because it feels like a World Cup when you get sort of this thing going in the stands.
Yeah, and full credit to the local organising committee who worked extremely hard to try and generate support for this World Cup with a focus on ensuring that schools that came were able to support the away sides. It's not a large sport, Powerchair football. It's certainly growing. And a lot of the travelling sides only bring a cohort of fans of about 20 or 30, and that's really just the family and support workers of our athletes. So brilliant for these athletes to have some support from the local school kids here.
And let's not forget, for many of these kids, it will be their first experience with disabilities of this type as well, and a real learning experience. Like, it's not just coming to support a team in a sporting event, it is a learning opportunity as well.
For sure, and just know that sport is for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're disabled, if you have an impairment of any sort, there is a sport for you. And it's fantastic that we have Powerchair football for users of electric wheelchairs. There are many other disabled sports, and we can see the banner right across from us here, put up by the FIPFA Powerchair Football World Cup Organising Committee, our 2 words of awareness and inclusion. And it's great to see. I mean, for us, being around this sport for so long, to finally be starting to see the support that's building, it's just, it warms my heart.
Diaz, contact there. Referee happy to leave it as incidental. Kick-in is referee's overruled the assistant here and saying it's a kick-in going in Uruguay's direction.
Yeah, that's the right decision by the centre referee. Definitely off the Denmark guard. And also correct to leave that contact guard on guard there. Nothing in that one.
Brian Medina plays the ball to Diaz. Brian following up Lucia. A great chance for Uruguay. Good save. Vongson able to get the angle spot on there to block the attempt coming from Lucia. Uruguay's best chance of the second half. Volker to restart for Denmark, deep in defence. And Krarup the goal scorer. Krarup not able to take possession. Corner is our goal scorer, the number 7.
Uruguay again looking to build pressure in their attacking third. Another set piece coming here.
Lucia, once, twice. And there's a wall created by the Danes that Lucia can't pass. Back to Brian Medina, looking for Diaz. Brian, well, not able to pass Krarup. Denmark's defence repels, but this sort of consistent territorial pressure could often pay dividends for a team. Now a big tackle being made here by Lucia. Diego Nin comes out to the edge of his area. And that is the instance where the 2-on-1 is allowed, as long as he stays inside the box. And he came out of the box there, and I think Cornerup is right to say it was a 2-on-1, because as soon as Diego Nin left his penalty area, he's refereed by the same rules as an outfielder.
Yeah, correct. Although I think what the referee's telling him here is, you've won the throw-in, I've paid advantage here. And also a throw-in, just like regular football or a kick-in in Powerchair football, is actually a direct shot. which is more advantageous than an indirect 2-on-1.
Well, it might be a moot point if they score here, just wide of the post. 𝐅𝐸𝐏𝐅𝐀 with a great shot. And it just slid wide, and we're going to see the first rolling substitution of the game. And it'll be Nicholas Siblis with Nico on his back and Marco Diaz coming off. So Uruguay turned to the bench. We didn't see Nico against Australia yesterday, so let's see what he can do here with Uruguay in need of an equalising goal. I've got to say, after yesterday's action, two of the best players I've seen in this tournament, sadly, both got sent off in the games I was watching them. Vegarelli from Argentina and also Francisco Wild from Uruguay. Just the passion boiled over for both of them. Here's a great chance. Nico, what an introduction this would be for Nico. Saved away. Vongson, absolutely vital. And Nicholas Siblis nearly came off the bench to score. Attack still going here for Brian Medina. He's got Vongson, the goalkeeper, to deal with. Still going Brian Medina. Vongson sticking to his task. Brian can't find an opening. That has been brilliant one-on-one play from Vongson, but now can Medina turn him? Medina! Still Medina, blocked away by Volker. Nico's there, and Volker again. Uruguay close again, and you can see the encouragement coming from their sideline.
Yeah, brilliant effort there by Volker. The goalkeeper got trapped outside the box. He was really just 2-on-1 against Volker on the goal line. Did extremely well to punch that out.
Corner kick coming up. Is this Uruguay's moment to draw level? Brian Medina, firmly struck, and the shot saved away. Vongson denies Lucia again. Repeat corner. It's Diego Nin coming over to the sidelines, getting an instruction. Just waiting here because as Diego Nin left the scene, he accidentally backed into 𝐅𝐸𝐿, but all's well that ends well.
Corner up there, actually positioned himself very well behind Nin to make sure the contact happened. I think a bit cheeky there from the Danish, but not malicious. Everyone's okay.
So corner kick coming up again. Referee just giving a talking to Nico here as he waits on the goal line. If Brian Medina can get the angles right, this might be a great setup for Uruguay here. Can he hit it square? Can Nico get it in? He goes for Nico. Nico gets the deflection. No, just wide. Didn't quite get enough purchase on his shot. Well, you could see it unfolding before our eyes, but it just didn't go for them.
No, and Nico probably turned the wrong way there. He tried to push the ball. If he'd just backed up and let his chair angle the ball onto target, it would have gone in. Very unlucky there from Uruguay.
Crowd rising. Brian Medina, Lucia. Denmark can counter here. 𝐅𝐸𝐿, Diego Nin. We've not seen this from the goalie at all today. He's now more of a keeper sweeper coming out to try and trap the ball in the Uruguay attacking half. Great atmosphere in the arena too. Nico waits in the corner. Brian Medina. Nico back to Brian. Didn't quite get what he wanted from the blindside roundhouse attempt at the ball. Now though, 𝐅𝐸𝐿. And what's the call here? Free kick Uruguay. 𝐅𝐸𝐿 deemed to have initiated the contact.
Yeah, and just shepherd Brian off the ball there. I think that's what the decision will be. Contact was fine. There was no pushing or shoving, but Danish player definitely played the Uruguayan Brian off the ball there, and that is certainly not allowed.
Ball living in Uruguay's attacking half at the moment.
This is called a direct free kick for contact. Does not need to be touched by another player if he puts it through the goal.
Brian Medina. He's not the most forceful striker. He goes for precision. Case in point. Blocked away by Volker. Nico backtracking. Oh, and he didn't quite hit it the way he wanted. Still able to retrieve the ball without it going out. Brian. Nico. And good goalkeeping by Vongson.
Brian needs to be careful he doesn't get too close to Nico here and give away a 2-on-1. Uruguay in a good position.
And it's out for a corner. Got to say, for a 16-year-old, I'm not sure how many years experience playing Vongson has, but he looks right at home on the World Cup stage. Doesn't look daunted by the occasion at all.
Yeah, certainly. Very calm and composed. Doesn't show a lot of emotion. That's what you want from your goalkeeper. Uruguay, the good block again on Volker for this corner. The referee saying, though, to Brian, you've got to play this ball quicker. I've given you 2 prompts to play the football. So we'll be
here
playing
it is.
quick here.
Nico, not quite. Vongson sticking to task again, and this time a goal kick. This time relief for Denmark. The entire Denmark coaching staff are up on their feet as well. Dare I suggest the Uruguay staff have been far more placid today than they were against Australia. Maybe it's an Australian thing that tends to just get the juices flowing. Maybe it's the excitement of playing the host nation that has seen some of the benches just absolutely ride every kick of the ball. Mind you, no one's taking a seat of the coaching staff. They are all absolutely on edge here.
Well, Australians and South Americans in football, always a placid affair, right?
It was a fun day yesterday. It's going to be fun today. Japan and then England later in the afternoon. Corner up, the goal scorer, trying to deny Brian Medina. Block tackle. And the ball does find its way out, but it will be Uruguay ball. It is a half-field game at the moment. Denmark have really set up to try and hold on to this 1-0 lead here.
Nico with a good block at the top of the box. I think that's where Brian's going to look to go. Thread the needle here. He does.
Oh, great movement from Nico to try and move out of the way and create a gap, and instead it's a corner, but you can see the plan there. He vacates the space, and that could have allowed Lucia to sneak in at the back post. 2 minutes of regulation to go.
Nico again on the goal line here. This time decides to block the goalkeeper. I've not seen that before in Powerchair football. We'll see what happens.
Again, Lucia at the back post. And Denmark will clear. Diego Nin back firmly. Corner up. Danger now for Uruguay. And out for a Uruguay kick-in. So the counter-attack could be deadly if Denmark are able to exploit the very open space. But right now, most of their thoughts are on defending. Brian Medina comes across. He's got the angles covered nicely. And he denies Krarup the chance to break away. Medina. Out comes Vongson. Now Lucia. Vongson, the goalkeeper, venturing forward. Lucia, Vongson, Diego Nin. Danger here for Uruguay. And it's out for a corner. No, it's a goal kick. Well, both assistant referees agree. So the Denmark bench thought they had a corner to trap the ball down at their attacking end, but they still have a minute plus stoppage time to deal with here. Diego Nin restarts play. Brian Medina touches it over to Lucia. Oh, and it just got the better of Lucia there. And if Denmark can manage it here, they might be able to wind the clock. They might score a second. Oh, swing and a miss from Krarup, and the ball is out for another goal kick. Uruguay have got to go the length of the arena. And it'll be largely on the generosity of the referee with stoppage time. Diego Nin. Volker. Not able to advance any further. Nico. Krarup. Up against Brian. This will suit Denmark. It's down their attacking end. Everyone bides their time. I don't think either player wanted to trap each other, but that's exactly what they've done now. Brian Medina, clever, extracted the ball. And now he tries to take on Volker. And the referee has seen enough. 40 seconds of stoppage time will do it. And Denmark get a vital win in the battle for a semi-final berth here at the Powerchair Football World Cup. Mark Cornerup goal early in the second half is the difference between the two teams as it finishes Uruguay 0, Denmark 1. Mike Suffield, your final thoughts on the game we've just seen.
But what a contest, what a battle. I mean, we talked about Dane's ability to counter-attack, and that was really the only difference between these two sides was that fast counter-attack early in the second half, as you mentioned. Uruguay, they pushed hard. They had a lot of set plays late in that second half. Couldn't find an equaliser. They'll probably feel a bit hard done by not getting an equaliser in this match. They would have wanted to draw the way they played, but well done to the Danes. They're a force to be reckoned with, sitting pretty in fourth all alone. They're on 7 points right now. Yeah, tournament progresses. It's a long way still, though.
So the table as it stands after this morning's games, France, United States and England all on 9 points, with USA having played one game more. Denmark on 7 points now inside the top 4. Uruguay 5th on 4 points. Australia 6th on 4 points, but with a game in hand. Japan on 2, Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland on 1 each, and Argentina still on 0. So a vital win for the Danes. And stay with us here on the FIPFA social media channels and YouTube page. We still have 3 more time slots and 6 more games to come on day 3 of competition. On behalf of Mike Suffield, my name's 𝐏𝐨𝐿𝐵. Thanks for your company for this one. Repeating that full-time score, Uruguay 0, Denmark 1.